to the cross you crucified. Oh, my sin and shame, he was washed by your mercy. You are the treasure I find, my reason for living. So let my life be calm and offering to the one who is worthy. Oh, praise to the Lord Most High. Oh, praise to the one who saved my life. Oh, praise to Jesus Christ, our King of heaven, our King forever. Yes, Lord, we give you praise. And you stormed the gates of my heart. The veil in between was torn apart. Now you hold the keys to the grave, 'cause you bring things to life, roll stones away. Oh, praise to the Lord Most High. Oh, praise to the one who saved my life. Oh, praise to Jesus Christ, our King of heaven, our King forever. Oh, praise to the Lord Most High. Oh, praise to the one who saved my life. Oh, praise to Jesus Christ, our King of heaven, our King forever. My King forever. Oh, I lift my hands up, lay my whole life down, my whole life down before you. And I lift my hands up, lay my whole life down, my whole life now is for you. And I lift my hands up, lay my whole life down, my whole life down before you. And I lift my hands up, lay my whole life down, my whole life now is for you. Oh, I lift my hands up, lay my whole life down, my whole life down before you. I lift my hands up, lay my whole life down, my whole life now is for you. It's all around me, my hope is found in you. As deep calls to deep, let heaven break through. You're the God of galaxies, a lamp unto my feet, and you're breathing life in me. That's who you are. You're the God of magic,
Amen. You can have a seat. Thank you so much, the worship team, for that. When I came through upon this passage a couple of months ago, and Dave and I were putting together like this different sermon series that we had. This is one that really kind of stuck out to me, and I've been really internalizing this passage, and so I'm really excited to kind of finish this off. I have not been able to be with you during the sermon series, but I've been watching online, and it's been really good to hear David kind of share, and then also be able to have our first family Sabbath Sunday. I hope you, wherever you were at, you were able to enjoy that and experience that, and spend time with your family or with just people that you care about as we celebrated our Sabbath together. I have always been fascinated by creative people. I'm not very creative myself. I'm not somebody that can paint or draw. I can't play an instrument. I can't sing. I'm just not a very creative person in that context. Now, I love that. I love just going to the Marshall Art Festival and walking through the different tents and seeing all of the different ways that people see the world around them. And I love the creativeness in the people that I know personally, because I see things the way I've never saw them before in my life. And one of the things that I love about Pastor Dave is that his photography that he takes, he sees things in ordinary moments, in ordinary circumstances that just jump out, and he takes these pictures of them that are just incredibly amazing. And he just sees like a spot on a tree that is just, that I don't see. He sees things in nature and just in everyday life that stand out to him. And for me, that's just the ability to have that creative aspect to see things that others don't see, right? To see beyond the physical, really, to see beyond just this moment in time, to see something that is beautiful and artistic, and I love that. Now, and I've started out drawing stick figures when I was a child to get my point across as I was drawing my artwork in school, and I've never advanced past stick figures. And so if I have to illustrate something or draw something for my sons, it's just these stick figures, right? Now my oldest is very creative, and he draws these really cool pictures, and twice he's been picked to have his stuff shown at the school art little art show. And I asked him after one of the pictures that he had drawn is framed, and I asked him, how did you come up with this? How did you decide to do this? Do they have pictures there for you? Do they have stuff for you to copy as you drew this and kind of created this artwork? And he said to me, Dad, it was just there. I could see it. I just had to start drawing it on paper. And I think that, to me, is what is so beautiful about people that are creative, that can draw something that's not there, that can look at a piece of marble or a piece of stone and say, all I had to do was start taking away parts and the pieces that didn't belong there, because this piece of art was already in this stone. Or watching somebody when I was in high school take clay and make this pot out of this big lump of clay, and they said all they had to do was create it. It was already in there. And I think that, to me, is what's the beauty of creation. The beauty of seeing beyond the physical is because it's there. We just have to open our eyes and see what is actually in that moment. This last few weeks we've been looking at 2 Kings 6, and I'd like to jump into it with you again this morning. When the king of Aram was at war with Israel, he would confer with his officers and say, we will mobilize our forces at such and such a place. But immediately Elisha, the man of God, would warn the king of Israel, do not go near that place, for the Arameans are planning to mobilize their troops there. So the king of Israel would send word to the place indicated by the man of God. Time and again Elisha warned the king so that he would be on the alert there. The king of Aram became very upset over this, and he called his officers together, demanding, which one of you is a traitor? Who has been informing the king of Israel my plans? It is not us, my lord the king, the one officer replied. Elisha, the prophet in Israel, tells the king of Israel, even the words you speak in the privacy of your bedroom, go and find where he is, the king commanded, so I can send troops to seize him. And the report came back, Elisha is at Dothan. So one night the king of Aram sent a great army with many chariots and horses to surround the city. When the servant of the man of God got up early the next morning, went outside, there were troops and horses and chariots everywhere. "Oh, sir, what will we do now?" the young man cried to Elisha. "Don't be afraid," Elisha told him, "for there are more on our side than theirs." Then Elisha prayed, "Open his eyes, let him see." The Lord opened the young man's eyes, and when he looked up, he saw that the hillside around Elisha was filled with horses and chariots of fire. What a beautiful moment! As this beautiful moment for Elisha as he shows the beauty of God. But to understand where Elisha is coming from, we have to kind of go back just a little bit and kind of revisit. And Dave kind of has talked about this in the past message, but I want to look at 2 Kings 2 for a moment. And this is kind of the moment that Elisha and Elijah kind of separated. And as they were going to this place that Elijah knew of, Elisha was following him. And as they would cross parts of this journey, Elijah looked at Elisha and said, "Stop, you cannot go any further with me. You need to stay here." And Elisha refused time and time again. He refused to stay, and he said, "I have to continue with you." They crossed the Jordan River, and as they crossed over there, Elijah says, "Come on, this is as far as you can go. You can't go any farther with me." And he says, "No, I need to keep going through. I can't stop. I have to follow you." And Elijah looks at him and says, "What can I do for you? What do you want me to do for you?" Now, the next phrasing is one of the boldest asks that I can think of. Often when we lose somebody in our lives, often when someone passes away, you usually hear this phrase uttered by the family or friends of this person. They say, "That person, whoever it was, a family member, a friend, was such an amazing person. If I can just be half the person they were, I'm going to count that a blessing. And the world will be different if I can just be half of that person, half of my father or my grandfather or my mother or my grandmother or a friend of mine. If I can be half of that person, I'll be doing pretty good." And Elisha has this moment as they're walking, and Elijah asks him, "What can I do for you?" Now, he doesn't look at Elijah and say, "If I can be half the prophet that you were, I would be okay with that." He doesn't even say, "If I can be 100% of the prophet that you were, I'll be okay with that." He has the audacity and the courage to say, "I want a double portion of your blessing. What you have done because of God, because God blessed you with it, I want a double portion of that. That's what I want." And so as Elisha and Elijah are talking, Elijah says, "I can't do that for you, but if you see me go, if you see me leave, then it'll be done for you." So as they're walking just a little bit further, all of a sudden, Elijah is taken up by horses and chariots of fire, and it comes down and picks up Elijah and takes him into heaven. And Elisha sees this, and he realizes that this is the moment. Now, fast forward to chapter 6. Now, this is the man that has asked for a double portion of the blessing that God has given to his predecessor, his mentor, Elijah. They're in this moment that looks like it's pretty bad. The servant has come out into, maybe outside of the tent. He's come out the next morning, and he's looking around, and what he sees is defeat. What he sees as he looks around the camp is not good. He sees this moment, and he sees around him the enemy is going to take them and take them as servants, as slaves, or maybe even execute them. See, fear grips the servant of God, a servant of Elisha. See, in the battle, in this moment, when they're in trouble, the servant saw defeat. When he looked around him, his eyes only saw what was there because he saw defeat in his life, in this moment. See, I wish I was more creative. I really do. I wish that I had what it took to see art and to see that, to be able to draw beyond stick figures. And I know that, in honesty, by my age now, there's no chance that I have this. I attempted to play piano when I was a kid, and that fizzled out pretty fast. They gave me, they gave you instruments in like, as 5th, 6th grade. This is the instrument that you were going to play when you went into high school. And the instrument that they gave to me was the trombone. The smallest kid in class with the shortest wingspan, they gave me the ability to play the trombone. So I played it for like, I don't know, maybe part of 7th grade, and then I put it down to sign that, one, my arms are long enough to actually get out to the note. I'd have to, like, when I did the furthest note I'd have to go out like this. Like my mouth wasn't even on the trombone the whole way. I had to kind of wrap my lips around the trombone and kind of go way out like that. And so I realized pretty quickly that I was not the person to play trombone, and so I just gave it up, and I said, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to be creative. I'm just done. And the inability to be creative has really hampered me in my life, because now I try to draw and be artistic with my family, and I'm drawing stick figures, and they're doing quite a bit different than me. I'm trying to create these Lego towers and these Lego cars, and they're creating something 10 times better than I could ever create, and I couldn't even see it in the creation of these Legos. And so I struggle with this, right? This battle within me of why can I not see beyond what is actually there? And, you know, my life, there have been times when I have refused to move forward in different places of my personal life and my spiritual life because I've been paralyzed with the moment that I can't see beyond what's in front of me. Like, I've had to ask God to help me to see beyond this moment. You see, at times when we are paralyzed with this fear that we can't see, the only thing that we see around us, like the servant of Elisha saw of defeat, right? He saw the enemies surrounding the camp, and his only thought was, oh no, we're in trouble. I'm not sure if you've ever experienced this in your life, that you've ever looked around you in moments of struggle and moments of frustration, saw nothing but defeat. At times, I think I missed things around me, missed opportunities because I'm blinded by the fear of the battle. I'm blinded by my inability at times to see beyond the physical. Elisha has this moment, and this moment really takes my breath away because Elisha walks out and he talks to his servant. And this moment struck me as I read it. Because as the servant is out of breath, as the servant is looking in fear and struggle, looking for all the things that are going wrong, he sees the swords and the horses and chariots. He sees defeat in this moment. See, Elisha walks out like a well-seasoned parent. You see, you know a parent when they become, for the first time, you can always see them, right? And I can say it's because that's the way I was. Right? I was terrified of everything. I tried to keep my children close to me all the time because if they went too far away from me, they might get hurt, right? Don't climb up there. Don't go up that. Don't try to hit that tree with that stick, right? All these kinds of things that I could see as a first-time parent that I was terrified of. But yet you have these other parents now. They have a couple of children and their kids are fighting with sticks and hitting each other in the head, and they're okay with it. It's not that big of a deal, right? They're going to be fine. It's okay if they run out there. It's not that big of a deal. They can do this or that, and a well-seasoned parent, they're cool, right? They're calm under pressure, right? I'm to change my son's diaper as we're driving across the country, right? It's not that big of a deal, right? And for me, as a first-time parent, when I was changing my son's diaper, he peed all over me. I didn't know all the tricks and the ways to handle all this kind of stuff. You see, Elisha walks out of the tent while his servant is freaking out and he's upset. And he walks out and looks at the servant and says, you don't see it? You see, Elisha saw beyond the physical. He saw things that were not there to the visible eye. See, when Elisha comes out, he sees beyond the physical. He sees what others cannot see in the moment. And he presses grace towards the servant. He could have chosen to rebuke him. He could have chosen to tear him down. He could have chosen in this moment to tell him of all the ways he's disappointed him, like a Costanza Festivus Christmas celebration, right? Where you tell your family all the things they've disappointed you in all the ways, but he doesn't do that in this moment. Yet he looks at him with grace, and he presses grace into the servant, and he says, "Oh God, that you would open his eyes." And in that moment, the servant's eyes were opened up wide, and he could see for the first time beyond the physical. And in that moment, he saw surrounding Elisha horses and chariots of fire on their side. You see, the entire time, he been so focused on what was going wrong. He been so focused on all the things that could go wrong in that moment, of all of the enemy around him, he couldn't see beyond the physical. See, in the battles that we do, in the battles we go through in our lives, what do we see? In the battles that we are in the battles others are in the circumstances that those around us are in, do we show grace? Do we press into grace in those moments? Or are we showing them all the ways they've disappointed us and the way they missed the mark? See, I'm not an artist. I'm not super creative, but I love being around people that are. I love being around people that are creative, that are able to see beyond the physical, that can see things that I can't see yet, because when I'm around them, then I get to see life and these moments in their eyes. I get to walk around and see what they see for that moment. See, the creative see things that I miss. And the inventor sees the invention where there is a need. And Elisha sees the possible where others are seeing the impossible. See, where those around Elisha do not see the work in the hand of God, Elisha sees it before everyone else sees it. To the point where his life is in danger because he's been telling the king of Israel all the ways that the king of Aram is trying to come and get them. A few weeks ago, I went to got an eye exam. And I'm not sure if anyone's ever had an eye exam. I've had a number of them, but the one thing that I've never had is my eyes being dilated. And so I got my eye exam, and it was great. I have 20/15 vision with my glasses on. Without them on, I don't remember what they said. I just stopped listening after he said you have amazing vision with your glasses on. And so they went to do the dilation of my eyes, right? And they do that stuff, and I could still see fine. I could see the doctor that was in the room, and I couldn't really see the words on the wall or anything like that. And so they do this dilation of my eyes, and I'm going to leave, and Sarah was going to come pick me up. And so I went to text her, I'm done, come pick me up. And so I texted something. I don't know what I had texted, because I just started punching things on my phone and hit send. I think I hit send, and then I realized I have no idea what I just sent to her. I could have sent her just about anything, and it probably didn't make sense. And so I get on my phone and I called her and I said, I don't know what I just sent to you, but I'm done, and I'm ready for you to pick me up. So for the next hour and a half or so, as my eyes are trying to readjust to life, I realize that there are times in my life that I need God to readjust my vision. There are times in my life that I am trying to see beyond the physical, and I can't see it. There are times in my life that the people that I'm walking with, that are doing life near me, they can't see beyond the physical. So the question then is, how will we live our lives in the presence of God? Will we ask God to, oh God, open my eyes so we can see the battle that is actually going on around us? Will we ask God to open our eyes so that we can see what He's doing around us, see the beauty and the majesty and the battles that He is winning in our lives every single day? But more than that, are we willing to look at the person next to us that may not be there quite yet? The person that is struggling to find their way, that is hoping to see what God is doing around them, but can't see it. Will we push them and ask God with them to open their eyes so they can see the glory of God around them? So they can see the horses and chariots of fire that are surrounding them every single day, doing battle on their behalf. So as we close in this moment, as we go from this place, as we are here in nature, seeing the beauty that God has created around us, the question that I have to ask myself every day, this week and the week before, as I've been kind of preparing and reading through this passage, is, Lord, open my eyes. Open my eyes so I can see beyond the physical. Open my eyes so I can see the battle that you are winning. Open my eyes so I can see what you're doing in my family's life and those around me. But more importantly, Lord, will you open the eyes of those around me so they can see and be engaged in this battle with us. I'm going to close in prayer, and then you're free to go and mingle and have some coffee and juice. But before you go, I ask that you would just search your heart, search your mind, and just check and see where you're at. What are you doing? Where does God have you going? And are you looking beyond the physical today? Let's pray. Father, we thank you for all that you've done in our lives. We ask that you would work in us, help us to see what you're doing around us. And if we're missing it, if we're not close to where you're at, if we're not seeing the victories in the battle, if we're missing the horses and chariots of fire around us, surrounding us, protecting us, and doing battle for us, Lord, I ask that you would help us to call on you to open our eyes. Oh, Lord, open my eyes. Oh, Lord, open the eyes of those here that are looking for your grace and your hope today. Amen. God bless, and hope you guys have a great rest of your day.